Hello, grade nines. I thought I'd do I told you on Teams that I would do a recap on some of the hard questions you did today. And so I will look at I've got four that I felt was really hard. Oh, not really hard, but I know that you will battle with. The last one for me was really hard. I had to really think about it and make sure I didn't make any careless errors, which I always do when I rush, as you kids know. I always rush my answers. So I thought I'd do that for you guys, and you can have a look at what I did. Please redo the videos. You've got the videos on hand, so you can relook at the videos. You have to sit there and say, I don't know what I'm doing. Just relook videos. Let's have a look at these questions. So let's begin. So we've got a question here, and I told you we're not putting it over each one. We have to factorize this, and then this will normally cancel out. So what can I pull out of here? I can pull out 8. Sorry, my pen. I can pull out 8. And how many p's? I'll pull out p squared. And what am I left with? I have to, so I always ask, what do I do to get back to that? I times it by p, and I have to subtract, and then it's 2. Check if I'm right. 8 times that gives me that. 8 times that, negative 16, correct. And I've got 12p here. Now you kids were asking me, it's okay, so what do I do now? You have to simplify the fraction. What goes into 8 and into 12? It's 4. Am I correct? That's the largest one, 4. And then this p, very important, this p, it can cancel with this square. And it takes a square away. It cancels a square. Alright, so something you only see when I do it on the board at class, and you'll catch on to it. But now this 8 I can simplify. What 4 goes into 8? Twice. And 4 goes into 12 how many times? 3 times. And I'm left with p minus 2. And that's the answer. It's simplified. You can't simplify it any further. Okay, and these are why these are hard, because they don't look like they're right. Okay, next one. Here's a little bit of a more challenging one. So now we have to factorize. So what do I have to, what for the 6, what's the highest I can pull out? I can pull out a 3. And the p's, oh, and you can pull out 1p. And the q's, right, it's a square. I can only pull out 1q. And what am I left with? 3 times what? 3 times 2. And how much do I need? I need 1p. Then over here, subtract 3 times what will give me 9? 3 times 3. And I've got the p, I need a q. Now what I want you to pick up on is, when I factorize this bottom here, there should be this bracket as well. It normally is, but we'll see. Those are things that are going through my mind, or there'll be an exact one of these, so they'll cancel off. But let's look. The 12, what do I take? What's highest over here? I'll take out a 6, am I right? Yeah, I miss my kids that know their multiplications one way. They'll tell me exactly. So it is 6 though. So I pull out a 6, and then p squared. Can you see it's cubed and squared? So I can pull out a p squared. All right, and q squared and q cubed. I'll take out a q squared. Let's see what I have to do. Let me just draw my fraction. Get my ruler. 6 times what? 6 times 2. Do you start seeing over here? See there? 6 times 2 gives me 12. And then I need a p, because a p and the p squared give me p cubed. And the q is already there, q and q cubed. So the q squared are there. Minus, all right, 6 times what will give me 18? 6 times 3. Can you see the 3 is the same? And I've got a p squared, and I've got a p squared, and I've got a q squared, and a q cubed. So what do I need? I need a q. Do you see at the bracket, the whole bracket is the same? So now I can cancel this whole bracket with this whole bracket. So the brackets cancel. But now, very importantly, people, if you have 2p minus 3q over 2p minus 3q, you can't cancel, let's say, plus 4. Say that was your fraction. You can't cancel those two. And let's make this 3p. You can't cancel because of the subtraction signs. You can never cross-cancel over a subtraction or addition. But when they are in a bracket, you can cancel the whole bracket out. Very important that you remember that. The brackets cancel. Don't overthink it. Just remember what I'm telling you. The brackets cancel. Right, but can I simplify this as a fraction? Yes, it's a half. 3 goes into itself once. And it goes into 6 how many times? Twice. Now look here, the p and the p squared, I'm minusing, so that's large in the bottom. I'd have to explain this, you guys are in grade 9. So the p will cancel with one of those, so the p stays down there. And the q squared, the q cancels with that square, and I left with the q at the bottom. That's the final answer. Let's look at the next one. Factorize this. Factorize this. What do I pull out the top? I pull out a 5y. And what am I left with? 5y times y gives me 5y squared. And then minus 5 times what will give me 15? 5 times 3. Over. What can I pull out here? I can't pull a y because there's no y common here. But I can pull out a 5. I pull out the 5. And what am I left with? I'm left with y squared minus 9. I can cancel that if I want to now, but look at this. What is this called? Difference of two squares. So it can factorize again. So I leave my 5y. You can cancel the, some of you cancel the 5y straight away with the 5. That 5 and that 5 will cancel. But I'm just going to bring it for, not to make it confusing, I'm going to step by step. Difference of two squares, you should know this. It's y minus 3, y plus 3. Can I cancel these two brackets now? Yes. Can I cancel that 5? Yes. So the 5 and this 5 and this 5 cancel. The y minus 3 cancels. And what am I left with? Y over y plus 3. Y over y plus 3.
I thought you can only cancel if it's in brackets.
It is in brackets.
The 5.
The 5, there's no additional subtraction. So my wife's asking now, she's like asking me, you can't cross cancel over addition or subtraction. But this subtraction is inside a bracket, so it's this times this. So this is a term itself. So you're cancelling. So this term cancels this term. Even though there's two terms in there, it's seen as one term. So it's this term sub over this term. They can cancel. All these terms are being multiplied. This term times this term. This term times this term, and then this term, which is a constant, times this term and this term. So all the terms are being times together. Even though the term inside here has got a subtraction, it's seen as one term. So I'm cancelling this whole term with this whole term. And then that 5 and that 5 cancel. And I'm left with y over that. So those are the only two left. These are challenging. You have to practice, people. Okay, this one over here was a I would call it a hard or a very hard question. So, what do I pull out of here? It's an 8 and b to the power of 8, because you can't take the 9 because it's not enough there. So it's 8 b to the power of 8. And what am I left? I pulled it all out, so what am I left with? 1. I've pulled the whole thing out. 1 times that gives me that. Minus, what times this will get me back to there? It's 2. 2 times 8 gives me 16, and I need one more b. Okay, so you just times it out, you distribute in to see if you get back to this numerator. Over. The highest I can pull out of here is 4b to the power of 8. And what am I left with? I'm left with 4 times what will give me 8? 4 times 2b. And then minus 1. Let's check if I'm correct. 4 times 2 gives me that 8. The b and the b to the power 8 give me b to the power of 9. And that 4b times negative 1 will give me negative 4b because it's 1. 1 times anything stays the same, and there's the negative. But now, look at the brackets, people. The brackets are the same but not the same. So what rule did I tell you must always remember? The sign change rule, where you introduce a negative so that the whole bracket changes. Because this is a positive 2b, but what's that? Negative 2b. This is negative 1, that's a positive 1. So I have to introduce a negative so that bracket changes. So you get a mark, so you literally get a mark for factorizing, and now the sign change rule, I introduce the negative, and this whole bracket changes. So now this becomes negative 1, this becomes plus 2b. So I'm going to write it the same as this. So this now becomes a positive. So now it becomes 2b, that becomes minus 1. And now it's exactly the same as my denominator. Look at your denominator now. Sorry, my pen is messed up here. 4b to the power of 8, 2b minus 1. So now, is my brackets the same? So the question is, how come I can cross cancel? This is a whole term now. This whole term, it's in a term, so I can cancel this whole term with this whole term. But then you guys freak out, so I just say cancel the bracket. Because when I say term, then you freak out. So cancel that whole bracket. And now you simplify it. 4 goes into 8 how many times? Twice. Look here, it's b to the power of 8, b to the power of 8. So that whole b to the power of 8, b to the power, they cancel each other off. And then 4 goes into 8 how many times? Twice, and don't forget the negative. Alright. Okay. So, boys and girls, those are difficult ones. Okay, there was sign change rule there was highest common factor, so you have to practice. I told you kids, term 2 is this, the water slide goes like that, and then term 3 the water slide goes like that, and then term 4 comes lastly. So we're hitting rough waters, even though now we're under lockdown, and the rough waters you're away from it. But luckily you got the videos, you can just recap the videos. Re-watch the videos, people. You have to re-watch the videos. Then tomorrow there's my little test. So Onati was asking me how we're going to do the test. Danielle was telling me this. I know it's compromised the test because you can cheat. I know that. And you can ask your friends for the answers. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. I need you to try and take the test as seriously as you can. Okay? Because when you get back, that first week you're going to get hammered with tests from everyone. Okay? Because we need assessments. So please take your time to do the test like you're doing a test. I'm going to give you probably about 10 questions of products, 10 questions of factorization, which you've just done. Products was the end of first term. Okay. I'll also open up a WhatsApp group, and you all need to take a photo and send me your answers. Okay. So I want to see your working out on there. I want to see it. I'm just thinking now off the top of my head, maybe not. Yeah, okay. No, send it to me. Send it only once and never again. Send it to me privately. Because I know some of you are worried that people want to mock you and look at your answers and see you're not going to do it. So everyone can send it to me privately, but that's it. I don't want any more WhatsApps from your kids privately. Okay? Just so I can see you kids are doing your work. Is that fine? Do you think it's okay? Okay? So do that for me tomorrow. I'll put it on the WhatsApp group as well. Just remember, products is multiplying out the brackets. Foil. Remember foil? It's foiling. Okay, my kids know what I mean by foil. Products means foiling. And then factorization is what you've just done now. Okay, so it's going to be good to see how you guys handle that. I'll put that up tomorrow morning. And then I'll explain myself more clearly on the WhatsApp group about the test. Thank you and God bless.